Private Herbert George Columbine, VC, the 9th Squadron Machine Gun Corps, killed in action on the 22nd of March 1918, aged 24. Herbert, who lived in Walton-on-the-Naze as a child, was awarded the Victoria Cross for conspicuous bravery and self-sacrifice. Following casualties around him, Private Columbine took over a gun and rebuffed enemy advances for 5 hours. Eventually, he was killed by a bomb. He has no known grave. Second Lieutenant Frank Edward Young, VC, 1st Battalion, the Hertfordshire Regiment, killed in action on the 18th of September 1918, aged 23. Frank, from Hitchin, joined his regiment as a 14-year-old boy bugler. He served alongside his father on the Western Front. He was awarded the Victoria Cross after rescuing 2 comrades captured by the enemy and silencing a machine gun. He was eventually killed after 4 hours of hand-to-hand fighting. Lieutenant Colonel Harry Daniels, VC MC, the Rifle Brigade. Harry Daniels was one of at least 10 children of a Wyndham baker. A career soldier, he quickly became renowned for his heroism in the trenches of northern France. In 1915, he braved a hail of machine gun fire to cut through the barbed wire in no man's land. Daniels was shot, but eventually crawled to safety. He went on to win both the Victoria and Military Crosses for conspicuous and consistent gallantry. John Stanhope Collings-WELLS, VC, 4th Battalion, the Bedfordshire Regiment, killed in action on the 27th of March 1918, aged 37. John, from Caddington, went to Uppingham School. A career soldier, he was injured in 1915 before returning to the front line. He was awarded the Victoria Cross after leading his battalion through 6 days of continuous fighting. Despite 2 grave wounds, he continued to encourage his men before being killed by a mortar bomb at the moment they achieved their objective. Sergeant Arthur Frederick Saunders, VC, 9th Battalion, the Suffolk Regiment. Arthur Saunders, from Ipswich, served in the Royal Navy before joining the Suffolks at the outbreak of war. The first man from the county to be awarded the Victoria Cross, he and a single comrade, armed with a machine gun, turned back the advance of 150 Germans. Saunders was severely wounded but survived and went on to serve in the Home Guard in the Second World War. Thomas Crisp, VC, the Royal Naval Reserve, killed in action on the 15th of August 1917, aged 41. Tom Crisp was from a family of Lowestoft fishermen. He was in command of the armed smack Nelson, which came into contact with a German submarine in the North Sea. Hopelessly outgunned, the Nelson was hit several times and Crisp lost both his legs. The crew, including his son, took to a lifeboat, but he refused to leave and went down with his ship. Edward MICK MANNOCK, VC, DSO, MC, Number 85 Squadron, the Royal Air Force, killed in action on the 26th of July 1918, aged 31. Mick Mannock, who lived in Wellingborough, was one of the First World War's greatest fighter aces and one of the most decorated men in the British Armed Forces. He won the Military Cross twice, the Distinguished Service Order 3 times, and posthumously the Victoria Cross. After scores of successful sorties, he was killed during a dogfight. His body was never recovered. Sergeant Major Harry BÉTTS, MC, the Cambridgeshire Regiment, killed in action on the 22nd of August 1918, aged 22. In 1914, Harry BÉTTS left his 8 brothers and sisters at the family home near March and headed for France. At 21, he became the youngest company sergeant major in the British Army. A year later, he single-handedly wiped out a nest of enemy machine guns and took 20 prisoners before his luck ran out. He was killed at the Battle of Amiens, the beginning of the end of the Great War. Private George Clare, VC, the 5th Royal Irish Lancers, killed in action on the 29th of November 1917, aged 28. George Clare from Chatteris responded to Lord Kitchener's call to arms at the outbreak of war. 3 years later, he was acting as a stretcher-bearer, running across open ground, continually swept by heavy machine gun fire. He moved between shell holes to warn comrades of a gas attack, but was eventually hit and killed. His body was never recovered.